Namaste. The prayer today from the Prayers and Meditations is a prayer written by the mother on March 15, 1914. And it's an extrapolation, an extension, one would say, of the prayer that we discussed last Sunday, which was written on March 14, where she had revealed to us the fundamental truth of spirituality, that the divine is everywhere. And today, the prayer on March 15, just the very next day she has written it, and the title which my limited mind gave it was Thy Presence. What is this divine presence? And what does one experience when one is actually in this divine presence? What is the state that one awakens to when one feels the divine presence? Now, as one goes through the prayers and meditations written by the mother, this book, this divine scripture, one thought emerges. Who can know the divine, or who can define the divine except the divine? The mother is the divine mother. She is the divine. From the beginning of civilization, the rishis and the sages, they tried to define the divine, the aspects of the divine. The presence, what does this presence, how can one define this presence? And but without much success. Either they tried through the, you can say, the negative approach, one may say, neti neti, not this, or one may say, thou art that, tattvamasi, or they tried through adoration and appreciation. Even though the premise of the devotee is true, yet the approach or the approach is still an emotional approach. Now, all efforts to define the elusive, to understand the one, is actually beyond understanding. Even though Sri Krishna, he revealed his Vishwaroop to Arjuna, yet he was much more than what was shown to Arjuna, or what Arjuna could perceive, or what he actually revealed. He was much more. So it cannot be otherwise, because by his very nature, the divine is limitless and the human understanding is limited. So in rare moments of grace, when one reads these prayers and meditations, in rare moments of grace, through some golden words, when the divine reveals himself or herself, chooses to reveal herself, and when that happens, our limited understanding, as if something pierces through our limited understanding with immortal rays of light. And the prayers and meditations is one such revelatory book where one can say, in the golden pages written by the divine, the diamond gates of her supreme splendor are revealed to us. And the mother lived, she came to Pondicherry, she lived there. She showered her infinite love and care on everyone, the disciples, those who were around her. Even now she is doing that. She physically lived among them. She talked to them. She played with them. And she laughed with them. And then she taught them you can say, the skills of spirituality. Yet, she rarely revealed her own divinity. Though it is much less known, and this book, the scripture, is Gita, we all know, Gita, Ramayana and all. This is a much lesser known book, yet, and one can say, and one can also feel that the divine does not reveal himself except to those who seek him sincerely. And in prayers and meditations, when one goes through it with utter gratitude towards the mother frequently reveals her identity and her state of being. One can get in direct contact with her consciousness when one reads these prayers and meditations. And another noteworthy thing, that the prayers and meditations about this collection is that the mother is already using the terminology of the integral yoga. She talks of the love, divine love penetrating all. And she wants to live in this love, and she wants this love to be kindled in every heart. And if we look at the basis of the yoga, of Sri Aurobindo's yoga and the mother's own yoga, what is it? The essence is that the conquest of suffering and pain and even death by the intervention of divine love. That is the essence of this whole yoga. And the mother had already realized this by herself even before she met Sri Aurobindo and became his collaborator. In one of her earliest prayers in November, the first prayer written over here is on November 2, 1912. And in one of her earliest prayers, one would say November 19, she writes, "All my thoughts go towards thee. All my acts are consecrated to thee. Thy presence is for me an absolute, immutable, invariable fact, and thy peace dwells constantly in my heart." So this is the high summit scaled by her. And what she had realized, these are not fleeting glimpses or chance contacts. She is in constant union with the divine when she's writing. So she had already realized all this. Though physically unknown to each other, it's November 1912, though physically unknown to each other, the divine twain, the divine pair have yet to meet. And it is 15 months she's away from landing in Pondicherry to meet the Lord. And it is clear when one reads that each of these prayers is actually a milestone for the mother in her own quest, and the supreme goal that she had set for herself. So this November prayer, where she's talking of the divine presence and where all her thoughts are moving towards the divine, are full of them. And the prayer now that we are going to see, it's written on March 15, 1914. And she's 15 days away, almost 15 days away from meeting the Lord. And it's a beautiful prayer. It's a short prayer. Short in terms of the number of words which have been used. But it is a very vast prayer. Also in the quality of the words that have been used, the vastness is reflected. The prayer, only 3 sentences are there. And each of the sentences reveals to us wealth of experience that the mother is revealing to us, what one awakens to when one feels the divine presence, thy presence. The prayer, March 15, 1914. My thought is filled with thee. My heart is full. All my being is filled with thy presence, and peace grows ever deeper, giving rise to that happiness so special, so unmixed, of a calm serenity which seems vast as the universe, deep as the unfathomable depths which lead to thee. Oh, these silent and pure nights, when my heart overflows and unites with thy divine love to penetrate all things, embrace all life, illumine and regenerate all thought, purify all feeling, awaken in every being the consciousness of thy marvelous presence and of the ineffable peace that flows from it. Grant, O Lord, that this consciousness and peace may constantly grow within us, so that we may be more and more the faithful intermediaries of thy divine and absolute law. As I said, a short prayer comprising only 3 sentences. And all the 3 sentences have plenitude and abundance, the wealth of her own experiences, which she is sharing. She says, my thought is filled with thee, my heart is full. when one looks at this prayer, look at the words full, filled, vast, unfathomable, deep. These are words which are beyond. When the mother is writing them, it is what is the experience, the wealth of experience that she is pouring out in these words. My thought is filled with thee, my heart is full, all my being is filled with thy presence, and peace grows ever deeper, giving rise to that happiness, so special, so unmixed, of a calm serenity, which seems vast as the universe, deep as the unfathomable depths which lead to thee. People often ask, what is the one experience one gets when one progresses on the path of yoga? And the mother is describing that as we go near to the divine, the state that she's expressing, this is the state that we awaken to. Otherwise, people speak of, I feel some peace, I'm feeling a little calm. Okay, but what this one line is depicting is the vastness, the journey towards vastness. Starting from within, it is a journey towards vastness. And the first thing we feel is that our thoughts naturally begin to soar, to fly towards the divine. And it is an effortless process. Once we are feeling this presence, it becomes effortless. Our thoughts automatically, they soar towards the divine, rising. And the thoughts that pull us down, that bring us down, are somewhere left behind. We don't even recollect them. They are just left behind. And interestingly, this word the mother is using is full. It's a very interesting word. Full of what? The heart is full of love. Otherwise, the heart is always empty of love. There are so many thoughts that take over us. Do we ever even feel that, even a slightest bit of love? So the heart is full. And when the thoughts are filled with the divine presence, the heart becomes full. And she says, all my being is filled with thy presence. So when the heart is full, the heart is the center. And it is pouring, the love is pouring out. So the entire being gets filled with that love. So my being is filled with thy presence. So there is a sense of the divine presence filling us completely. And she says, and peace grows even deeper. And what is the sign of the divine filling ourselves or filling us up? It is the peace. Peace is the sign. And it becomes, peace not only comes, but peace becomes deeper and deeper. And what is the sign that the peace is becoming deeper and deeper? It leads to, as she says, an unmixed happiness, unconditional happiness, unadulterated joy. And it is not based on any external thing or any outer thing. And when we experience this happiness, this unmixed, unconditional, unadulterated joy, what is the sign? We feel that calm serenity. And what we feel is widening, the vastness, which is vast, the sense of vastness. So, right from the thoughts filling us, thoughts turning towards the divine, that what it leads to is the vastness. And when one feels this vastness, one is calm, serene. There is a quietude. There is a deep sense of quietude. So there is vastness and there is depth. And one feels, people often talk of experiences as seeing a light or seeing a vision or maybe seeing or getting an experience. But yes, it is very subjective. And those experiences are also indicative of some vastness. And if we look at this word vastness, we can feel it and we can relate it to our own life. What we experience most of the time in our life is narrowness, just the reverse of vastness, the opposite of vastness. And in narrow, selfish conditions, greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, there is a stifling. There is a stifling sense. One becomes very rigid, one becomes very closed. And even if we look very carefully, the body tightens, the body cringes, the nostrils flare. There is a tightening of the muscle. So these are all indicate. Even the face gets very twisted when we are in those narrow, selfish conditions. And these conditions are very suffocating and hugely disturbing. So, but from this state, we have to move towards this vastness. So, whereas when we are feeling calm, open, wide, one can be very sure and happy. One can be very sure that we are in that divine presence. We are feeling that divine presence. एक ही लाइन में कह डाला सब माँ ने इतने सारे experiences. Let us read this line again. It is very profound. My thought is filled with thee. My heart is full. All my being is filled with thy presence. And peace grows deeper, giving rise to that happiness so special, so unmixed, of a calm serenity which seems vast as the universe, deep as the unfathomable depths which lead to thee. And so when is she experiencing this? Just a day before, she was talking of the huge expanses of sand as the ship was passing through the desert, from the sides of the desert. She experiences this. So this is an experience. And the very next day, she's feeling this presence. And she says, oh, these silent and pure nights when my heart overflows and unites with thy divine love. First line, heart is full. Now this line, heart overflows. Is the thing which she is feeling only for herself? No, it is overflowing with thy divine love and unites with thy divine love to penetrate all things. When one feels love, it doesn't stay there. It wants to penetrate all things. It wants to touch everything, to penetrate all things, embrace all life, illumine and regenerate all thought, purify all feeling, awaken in every being the consciousness of thy marvelous presence and of the ineffable peace that flows from it. What plenitude, what abundance is she describing. A day before, she had spoken of the desert, and now she's writing this prayer in the silence of the night. Very difficult to get in the city setup, this kind of silence, and also very difficult to get in the family setup. So that is why it is often recommended that even when you are in the family or in the city setup, you have a space for yourself where you can go at night and you can commune with the divine, free from all the noise and the disturbance and the clatter and the clutter of the city life or the family life. So she says that when one experiences the divine love, there is no need to withdraw anywhere actually, anywhere or elsewhere. Where one is, one can experience that. And it starts overflowing. So, and by deepening of the consciousness, her love is overflowing, penetrating, illuminating, regenerating. She's talking like this. By deepening the consciousness, the love begins to flow out and embrace all things, all objects, creatures, all over the universe. The love in the heart can touch and penetrate everything and can soothe and calm and deepen the peace, awaken the consciousness. So it is an outward, when one feels this love within in the heart, there is an overflowing of that. And one is taken back, one is reminded of the experience which Mother has narrated here on I think February 22nd. She has narrated something that she used to experience when she was a 13-year-old girl. At that age, imagine. And for one full year, she would have this experience where at night, when she would go to bed, she would rise from her own body, her consciousness would rise, and it would move above the house. And these are her words, she has described it like this. It would move above the house, and then it would move above the city of Paris. And the mother would be wearing a golden robe. And people, creatures, men, women, old men, young children, they would come and they would touch the robe and the robe would cover them up and they would feel very healed and comforted. And this happened for one full year. And all the creatures who were coming and touching that golden robe. And what is that robe? One would wonder. That golden robe that the mother is describing, what material is it made up of? I often wonder, what material is it made up of? It's the robe of her compassion, turning into divine love which touches everything and everybody. And whosoever touches, even gets a touch of it, is healed. And interestingly, maybe one also reflects that just, when she's 13 years old, and after 40 years, imagine, maybe she is spreading out that divine robe of compassion. It's a gesture, it's an indication that her compassion is now flowing out all over the earth. It is out to redeem the earth, touch every corner of the earth. This is an indication. 40 years later, 40 years later, when this Second World War was going on and when Hitler had given this order that Paris be demolished. There were dynamites placed all over Paris and they were charged. And the person, he entrusted a person, general, who had never failed in any project. So he entrusted that general to, give the trigger for blowing up Paris. What happened? He was not able to do it. In fact, he gave the other order. He just gave the order to diffuse all the dynamites. And Paris, her own city of birth, was saved. Maybe these are all indications, but her love, is overflowing. And maybe from that age, she was the divine. Even in the human form, she is divine. She is the divine mother. The personal mother, she is divine. She is divine in every form. And in everything that she touches, she divinizes that. So she was perhaps preparing the whole earth for the advent of the supramental force. And so she has described, there's a description of the mother where she says, when she was feeling this, when she was having these kind of experiences, her heart did not feel like an organ at all. In fact, she felt as if her heart was beating in every heart of every creature on this earth. These are her words. And Sri Aurobindo, after 20 years, when she has penned down this prayer, after 20 years, he writes, love in her was wider than the universe. The whole world could take refuge in her single heart. It's not a mere coincidence, no? So now, one would also wonder that this vastness, this all-inclusiveness for everybody, this wideness encompassing all creatures, it is beyond those experiences of any sage, any scripture, or any religious leader that have been inspired by any avatar or any messiah. It is far beyond that. She carries a divine benediction in the very air, heralding the most marvelous future for all, for the earth. So, who else or what else can be the path, the gateway to lasting peace, if it is not her? And Sri Aurobindo has said, she is the beginning, she is the path, she is the goal, the mother is the goal. And in the last part of the prayer, she's not stopping. Grant, O Lord, that this consciousness and peace may constantly grow within us, so that we may be more and more the beautiful intermediaries of thy divine and absolute law. So peace is the basis of all divine action. No peace, no divine action. So divine action can be done only on the basis of a peace which is very deep and which is undisturbed, which remains undisturbed by anything. A lot of the training in this yoga initially is to want this peace, to bring this peace down. And deepening this peace. It starts with the peace and equality in small, small things that we do and little circumstances. And then as we grow, it deepens, it becomes deeper and deeper. Peace itself will, the quality of peace is that it goes layer by layer. So it deepens and it deepens, it goes deeper and deeper. And the way to that, what is the way to that? The way to that is paved by the sincere aspiration for the divine presence. So aspiration for the divine presence is the very first thing. And once one gets in touch with this divine presence, there is no stopping. It is also indicative that yes, the peace has come and it is growing deeper. And when it grows deeper, love can manifest. Love is the most strong, the most potent power on this earth. And Sri Aurobindo and the mother both have said, it needs a very strong basis to come and touch us also. So peace, calm, equanimity, these are the first things that are required for the love to manifest. And ultimately what? Ultimately we are transitional beings. We are the being that I call myself, this projection of myself in time and space, this aggregate that I call myself. What is the purpose? It is to become an intermediary of the divine absolute law. And what is that? Why are we here? We are just intermediaries so that matter can become divine, matter can be transformed, and divine life in a divine body. And each of us is that intermediary which the mother wants us to become. And there is so much of hope and there is so much of an assurance, in fact a certitude. When the mother is writing these prayers, she has already realized these states and her love is pouring out. Each prayer has her love. And when one reads these prayers, one starts becoming already full. One can also say that reading these prayers with sincerity, with sincere aspiration, because the divine reveals himself to those who are absolutely sincere. So sincerity is the first value, first virtue. So when one feels that, and when one is reading these prayers, one is in that divine presence. The mother's love is encompassing all. So in the end, what matters is that whether we are the true intermediaries that the mother wants us to become, whether we are that, whether we are on that path. And the mother is openly giving us everything. She's always by our side. Her calm, her love is penetrating every heart. And this is a certitude. It has happened. So, an example also one can take is that it takes time. Yes, it takes time. Layer by layer, the divine would reveal itself and the basis is how much of peace and calm and equanimity are we feeling. Once we are in that calm, serene state and happy, and we call the divine, things move very fast. One may take the example of Arjuna in the Virat Yudh. When they were in exile, when they were told to go in exile for 13 years, they had to hide their identity. So when the Virat Yudh actually took place, Arjuna was not in the man form, he was in the eunuch form. So, but the Kauravas, they said that, okay, we know where you are and we know who you are, so you have lost the bet. But 13 years were already over. So when Arjuna, he fought the Virat Yudh, he was able to defeat them, Bhishma, Duryodhana, Dronacharya, at that time. But what happened at the battle of Kurukshetra? He needed Krishna by his side, because this is the battle of the future. And it's not that peace will come one day and it will next day, one day there is agitation and the next day the peace will come. It's not like that. So layer by layer things open, the peace deepens. And he needed to feel that oneness with the Lord. And only then the Lord, and he was very sincere. His relationship with the Lord, and that is why it is very important for us to build a personal relationship with the Lord. Once that relationship is there, He will draw us out wherever we are. He will never leave us. The mother, a personal. When you call Ma as you call her as the mother. Whether you call her as a human mother, whether you call her as the divine mother, the effect is the same. She will come. And it is when you call her even in the human form, when you even look at her photograph and you say Ma, something happens, no? Don't we feel that presence then? So is the presence not within all of us now? And who has done it? The mother has done it. She has put it in front of us. And somewhere the mother has also said that in each heart, the divine's presence is the promise of future and possible perfections. Her own words. Let us read this prayer once more. My thought is filled with Thee. My heart is full. All my being is filled with Thy presence, and peace grows ever deeper, giving rise to that happiness so special, so unmixed, of a calm serenity, which seems vast as the universe, deep as the unfathomable depths which lead to Thee. Oh, these silent and pure nights, when my heart overflows and unites with Thy divine love to penetrate all things, embrace all life, illumine and regenerate all thought, purify all feeling, awaken in every being the consciousness of Thy marvelous presence and of the ineffable peace that flows from it. So peace has come to settle, ineffable, something that can't be effaced out just like that. Peace has reached those depths where it is the basis of the divine presence now. Grant, O Lord, that this consciousness and peace may constantly grow within us, so that we may be more and more the faithful intermediaries of Thy divine and absolute law.
That was indeed a meditative experience, acting as a completely unobstructed channel for the Mother's love and light. Mithu created around us an envelope of love and peace, in which we forgot ourselves and forgot all our problems. We can practice this all the time whenever we feel during meditative sessions. And what we can do right now is to go into that type of a meditation so that we can experience the unmixed, unadulterated joy that the Mother has talked about in this, as a result of all parts of the being getting filled with divine presence. So please sit in a meditative posture, straight but not tense, totally relaxed. Completely relaxed, particularly the head and the neck. No furrows on the forehead. Eyes closed but only gently shut. Shoulders drooping. The weight of your hands and arms entirely on your knees or on your lap. Slow and gentle breathing. Make only a little effort to breathe in, no effort at all to breathe out. Continuing to breathe slowly and gently, visualize as you breathe in a wave of aspiration rising up your spine. An aspiration for the Mother's love and light. Let this wave of aspiration rise up your spine every time you breathe in. And as it rises up, it expands as it reaches your head into a funnel-like structure. Continuing to feel this aspiration as you breathe in, and this wave of aspiration rising up your spine, broadening as it reaches the head into a funnel-like structure. Now visualize as you breathe out the Mother's presence and her response to this aspiration, pouring her love and light through that funnel down the spine, and as it flows down the spine, it doesn't remain confined to the spine, it radiates throughout your body, creating a sweet, soothing resonance. The word Ma itself has a sweet, soothing resonance. Say that mentally as you breathe out, visualizing the Mother pouring her love and light through that funnel down your spine, radiating throughout your body, creating that sweet, soothing resonance, and then not staying confined to your body, but radiating all around. So now you have an image of that, and after hearing this prayer, you can visualize how all parts of the being, when they are under that influence, experience a total involvement, a total absorption, the thoughts being filled with the Mother's love and light, the heart getting filled with her love, and the body becoming conscious, more and more conscious with the same. And the body's boundaries being only an illusory boundary, the influence radiating all around you, creating an envelope vaster and vaster, filling the hall, moving outside this hall without any boundaries. Express your gratitude to the Mother for giving us this blissful experience. Words are not necessary. Gratitude is more of a feeling, an attitude, and does not depend upon expression in words. Keeping the eyes closed, let's recite a mantra which is about the universal presence of the Divine. Lead and follow. I'll say a part of the mantra and then please repeat after me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnamada Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnasya Purnamadaya
Purnam evavashishyate.
Purnamevavashishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Please rub your palms. Cup the palms and place the cupped palms in front of the closed eyes. Keep them near the eyes, but do not touch the eyes with your hands. Bring the hands down slowly along the body. Return to a meditative posture. Open your eyes with a few blinks. Look around and say an affectionate namaskar to the persons near you and just see the Divine in all of them and everything around you. Thank you.